Hello everybody. This is Maria from Abyssimo, and please tell me, what do you think about creating these whimsical, imaginary fantasy flowers with watercolors today? And I'm giving you a full creative freedom to create any type of flowers or plants, anything that lives in your imagination. Or you could create a specific plant. It's up to you. So let's see what we will need. I'm sorry that my watercolors look so used, but they are still good. I use them a lot and I love them. So there is a regular set of watercolors, and there is koi that has gold, silver and very bright colors. Also, we will need water, masking tape, different sizes of brushes, a watercolor paper and a board to which I'm going to attach a watercolor paper. Also, I suggest to have a pen, regular or gel pen. I'm going to use a white gel pen that called Sakura to create stems and some smaller details. So not only I attach watercolor paper to the board with masking tape, I also create a beautiful frame that will give us a nice complete look when the painting is done. Well, are you ready to start? I'm sure you're super excited. Well, the first step is the easiest, and all you need to do is to find your biggest flat brush and apply as much water as you can. It's because we are going to work with, that's right, watercolor paints. The watercolor paints love water. But really, when you think about it, who doesn't like water? I like water. I love water. I love drinking water. I love swimming. I love jumping into water. I love diving, scuba diving. I'm a terrible surfer, but I still keep trying. And you might ask me, what is it to do with our art project, right? The truth is that any joyful activity brings you inspiration, and it could be expressed in our art. Needless to say that there's so many artists that are inspired by oceans, waves, lakes, and we call them marine artists. Well, in our case, we are floral artists, but being inspired by water, we're creating now a beautiful background with gradients. I'm trying different watercolors and tones, and I mix them together. I change the angle and let colors bleed and blend with each other. Now, it's important not to make it too dark, okay, because we still need to paint flowers on top. But keep in your mind that once the colors are dry, they get a little bit lighter. Don't worry if your splashes of color look dark. Just add more water, and with vertical movements, spread your color and let it bleed with others. Don't be afraid to try different colors. Mix warm and cold, light and dark. Just be creative, and if you are not satisfied, you can try another piece of paper and give it a try again. And once you're done, keep it aside until it's totally dry, just like my artwork. Well, what can I tell you? I'm definitely surprised. I didn't realize actually that I'm going to have such a dark splash of black. Well, anyway, it is what it is. Yes, I love challenging myself, so let's see where it's going. Now, when I look at my model painting, I'm showing you that first thing that I'm going to create are petals and leaves. And once they are created and dry, I will add some lines and some smaller details with gel pen. So I found that creating leaves and petals is easier with a thin brush. And on the side, I'm mixing blue and brown with a lot of water. Actually, the orientation of my painting is vertical, and I want the darker splash that you see on the left side to be on the top. Although for the convenience and for better representation, I'm keeping my artwork horizontally, okay? So I'm kind of a little bit working, well, not upside down, but from the side. But please find for yourself the best position of the page, okay? Meaning decide from what direction your flowers are growing, where is top and where is the bottom. So here is my plan. I want to create beautiful, very light painting, and the lightness comes from the transparency, right? And the first layer, as we know, is the background. The second layer will be some kind of abstract leaves that are looking a little bit like the seaweed, okay? And then we will play with more tones, more colors, and we will create colorful petals, okay? So the trick is to create outline, a contour of the leaves, and then to fill the central part with a very light, darker tone. Again, it's really important in order to achieve weightless, transparent, light feeling of your painting. Your leaves need to be just slightly darker than the background, okay? You will really appreciate it, because if you start with dark colors, it will be extremely difficult to achieve some other tones on top of it, because remember, watercolors are transparent, okay? And now let's add some magic. Did you see it? Okay, let's do it one more time, but slowly. So while my leaf is wet, on one of the side of the leaf, I'm adding a gold from Koi watercolors set. Now you could see how it nicely blinks. And pay attention, I'm only adding gold to one side of the leaf, and then just let colors blend with each other by themselves. Koi watercolors are amazing for this effect, and it's a pleasure to work with. But don't worry if you don't have them. I suggest to use any water-based colors like gouache, acrylics, tempera with metallic effect. It will look very similar to what I create here. Now let's create another leaf using exactly same method, creating first a contour of the leaf and then filling it up with watery pigment. And now, while the leaf is still wet, let's add golden pigment and let it travel on this side of the leaf. It's really a magic, very meditative process. Well, now I'm going to speed up my video because you know how I create leaves, where one part has a darker greenish bluish tone and the other side is golden. And I really also like creating this hook on the upper side of the leaf. It's whimsical, it adds some character to the style. As you see, I barely interrupt and let colors blend by themselves, but in order to achieve this effect, you need to make sure that you use very watery, well diluted colors. Now let's take a closer look and change the angle of the board to see blinking effect of the gold. I think it looks pretty cool, right? Pretty sleek. Now when my composition is more or less visible, let me show you what I'm going to create with a Sakura gel pen white color 08. I use white gel pen to enrich my design and make my artwork more unique, and create similar leaves with similar shapes and similar hooks with white lines without filling them up with watercolors. Only lines, this is it. According to my subjective creative taste, I think that these lines add another dimension to my work. It's a very subtle, sometimes even barely visible effect, although I think it adds some elegance to my work. This white gel pen is a pleasure to work with, although sometimes the tip is being clogged. Well, don't worry about it. Just wipe it with some soft fabric and it will work again. If it happens that you find a better pen that doesn't clog, please let me know in the comments. I've been trying so many different types and I found that Sakura works the best, but I'm sure there must be something better on the market. You can hardly overdo effects with white pen, although still keep an eye on your artwork and try to stop in time because it becomes super contagious. I think I will take a break with white pen because I'm satisfied with what I see, and now I will try something else. Now when my composition is created, I want to add a focal point. Focal point is the main point that attracts our attention. And why is it important? Because then your painting is nicely balanced and well anchored. Your eye is not lost. Your eye sees most important thing or most important object of your artwork. I'm going to have a focal point right in the center. Usually I avoid it because when my main objects are placed straight in the center, it creates symmetrical composition, and I try to avoid symmetry because when my composition is asymmetrical, it creates more curiosity, but not in this case. Focal point will be same leaf as I've created earlier, although I will add bright colors, and bright colors are enough to make this leaf to stand out. Actually, I should say not leaf, but a petal. Actually, a few petals together so that they create an image of a flower that will be created with gradient. A burgundy hook on the top, then it will blend into gold, then gray, and then bright pink from the koi water set. Keep in mind that if you want to create smooth transition of colors, keep a whole surface wet. Now let's add a darker stem and maybe a little bit more bright pink to make it stand out even more. Well, this petal looks good, and now let's repeat the whole thing again and create another petal. Here is just a quick reminder. First, you create a contour of your new petal. After that, fill it up with a watery gray tone, and then add bright tones on the hook and at the bottom and create gradient while it's all still wet with watercolors from koi set. Please don't get disappointed if you don't have koi. For this effect, any water-based fluorescent colors will work really well. I truly regret that you cannot see how much life these pigments add to my painting, and I really hope that you will find an opportunity to work with the same materials to appreciate them. And also, not having all the materials that I'm using for this artwork shouldn't stop you from trying. White gel pen, for example, could be substituted with any other color of any other type of pen, or even pencil, a sharp pencil. It still will work, it still will give you the same feel. The golden pigment could be, as I mentioned before, any type of water-based metal pigment. It doesn't have to be gold, for example. It could be silver or it could be bronze. Just give it a try. You can even mix them all together. Instead of bright colors, you could use any water-based fluorescent, and it could be completely different tone. For example, you could experiment with, let's say, silver, blue, and green. It will work fantastically together. Allow yourself to be creative, not only with experimenting with your artwork, but with the choice of materials. Well, I'm very satisfied with my creation, and I'm going to add more petals and more leaves and more white lines until I'm satisfied. The only trouble is for me, and I know a lot of artists have same problem, is when to stop in time. So hopefully I'm not going to overdo it, and I will love my artwork when it's finished. And also I want to change the orientation of my working area and work vertically, because this is how I planned, to have my painting, and because it's really difficult to work when everything is on a side, so it also gives you a better representation of my work. And I think I want to give you a chance to watch more and speak less, because now you know all the methods that I'm using in this artwork. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello, hello again. Did you miss me? Well, I think I have a lot of petals and a lot of leaves, and I'm about to stop. And as a last touch, I will add a little bit of more white lines using the white gel Sakura pen because I feel like it. I think it's going to add some more interest to my artwork. I also wanted to say that the awesomeness, do I say it correctly? That's how it is in English. Awesomeness, the beauty of this design could be used for many different purposes. You could take a good photograph, a high quality photograph of this artwork, and then print it on many different things. For example, you could print it in high quality on fabric and create beautiful pillowcases or beautiful scarves. I think it will make an amazing gift to anybody. Just imagine a scarf with your own painting, with your own design. I know there are some companies that are actually doing this, and you can choose a right, maybe semi-transparent or transparent fabric like chiffon. Yes, I think this design will work really, really nice on transparent fabric. Or you could scan it or import a high quality photograph to Photoshop and create patterns, or use only a part, a close-up of this artwork, and print beautiful postcards or beautiful I don't know, it could become a background for something, or it could be a huge beautiful poster with close-ups showing all these nice details of your pigments and colors and splashes and the texture of the watercolor paper. Anyway, there's many different ways to use it, and I strongly recommend to take your creative activity to this direction and try something completely new. And really nice other idea is to sell it. There are a bunch of companies or online resources that might, buy it from you and use it for printing on different things like mugs, or as I mentioned, pillowcases and so on. I think Fine Art America does it. But do your own research and you will find a lot of ways to use your beautiful art. And hey, make money with this. I wanted to make money with your art. Artists shouldn't be poor. Artists should live a good life because we need inspiration. And another very important point that I always wanted to say and I always forget is that happier life you live, better artist you are, because you have more inspiration and more energy that is not being drained, into solving constant problems. Life is not about solving problems. I mean, of course, we solve problems, and we do have to do it once in a while, but I don't want you to see life as a chain, as a constant chain of events or troubles that we have to solve. Life is about joy, art is about joy, creating is about joy, meditative art is even more about joy. Oh well, I got carried away with my philosophy, but I really wanted to be happy, I wanted to be inspired. So, my painting is completed. I think it's quite interesting. It looks quite close to the original painting, and yes, I'm quite satisfied. But I want to see what it looks like when I have a frame. So let's gently take out all the masking tape. Taking this tape out is such a exciting event because then you could see your artwork totally completed, and it's interesting how much this frame adds to your artwork. I really want you to try this technique. I encourage you to create your version of this whimsical koi watercolors or water-based colors, flowers, because honestly, I believe that this particular artistic approach teaches you how to be patient. Because with watercolors, you need to wait until everything is dry in order to apply before applying another layer, for example. I want you to post your experimentations in my Facebook group. It's called Abyssimo Open Studio group. That is absolutely amazing and inspiring and with beautiful art and beautiful people, supportive and very, very warm. You could learn so much just by seeing their artworks. And what's really valuable is that you could ask questions, and because we are such a supportive group, we can give you a lot of information about techniques and materials. If you like my tutorials, I also encourage you to check out my online school. I have free and paid tutorials. I mostly focus on textural art, but there are all kind of tips, and check this out. It's called abyssima.teachable.com. Please check below all the links and join. And I really want you to be happy. I really want you to feel good about your art. This is my aim. Inspiring others, help me to grow my wings and make me a better person. Well, and I'm loving what I've just created. This is great. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you again. It was Maria from Abyssima, and happy creating.